up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 58 of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host from Rick Barth in the line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And rounding out this righteous crew, she works for a big-time animation company, but she's not at liberty to tell us which one. Fandom Spotlite's own Yali Perez is on the show.
Hi, everybody. Well, now I can say it because there's only one.
Oh, wow.
And Funimation bought Crunchyroll, so I work for Crunchyroll.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you.
There's
so
only
much for
one.
coming
There's
back
only
on the
one.
show. We have missed you dearly. We are here today because the donger need food. That's right, folks. It's time for 16 Candles to DuckTales. But before we charge you $1 to see Ian's underpants, we need to talk about how 16 Candles came into our lives and what we love about it. And that means it's time for you guys watching at home to dish on how it came into your lives. We talking VHS, Laserdisc, cable, theaters? Hit us up in the live chat and let us know. So, yeah.
Sir, you have to pay $3 to see those.
$3? Good Lord, that's a lot of money. How about you just show me the waistband and I give you 15 cents?
That is a throwback that 4 people remember, and I love it.
Well, for the 4 of you, you're welcome. Getting back on track, Yali, do you remember the first time you watched 16 Candles?
I'm pretty sure I saw it on cable, and it might have been like a Molly Ringwald like marathon, because I remember Pretty in Pink was first, and then 16 Candles, and then Breakfast Club. So I got to like watch all 3. And I remember feeling like something about this isn't right, but not knowing what it is because I'm too young to figure it out. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, I get it now. These are the things that are not okay about this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's certainly, of all of John Hughes's movies, this one has probably aged the worst.
Yes.
In many ways. But
the marathon
also
was probably like a USA marathon because USA used to show this a lot.
I feel like it was either them or like, was it TBS or TNT?
TNT, yeah.
TNT, yeah. So that's when I saw them. And I remember not being 16 and be thinking like, if that's what being 16 is like, I don't think I'm really excited about turning 16 at all. So, and also in Spanish culture, 16 Candles means like something totally different. Like when it's your 16th birthday. So I'm like, oh, so this is how Americans like celebrate, you know, being 16, which is not as fancy as like Hispanic people.
But so you're the quinceañeras.
No, but even then, like,
Can you just say that once more, Mickey?
Quinceañeras.
Quinceañera.
Oh, I love that.
But you know, like for us, like you give in a quinceañera, or if you do a sweet 16, the same thing in Spanish culture. The 16 candles, you give one to each somebody who's important in your life.
Yep.
Like a real big deal. Like
Mhm.
if you don't give someone a candle, like that could be like fighting words. So it's just like I expected the movie to have her like be like, oh my god, who am I gonna give the candle to? And like people were fighting, but like that's not what it was.
You didn't give Teal a candle?
Right? Like it's
How
such a
can
big deal.
That
That's your
actually
deal.
sounds like if you think about it, though, that sounds like the makings for a great movie, like this, you know, coming of age story, and she's got to
It
like,
actually does.
yeah, the 16 people, these different, 16 different people, these candles, and you're like touching on how they've each.
I mean,
Yeah,
better
I
than
don't- I don't
that
think
sounds
they've
better
ever
than
done
going.
that.
It's better than going after Jake Ryan.
Yeah. I think,
Yes.
Hey,
I
wait a
wanna say
second
that.
now.
I want to see
Jake
that.
Ryan has aged like a fine fucking wine.
Oh,
all
dude,
right?
Jake-
I know the
Jake-
rest of
Ah,
the movie. has
Jake
become
Ryan, you
very
put it-
problematic.
Jake
the
Ryan.
poor
you put
man's
it-
Matt Dillon.
Oh, you said it. You weren't supposed to say it, but you said it. No, Jake Ryan, you put in your basement and you just wait for the day to pop that bottle. All right. Like that is what you do with the Jake Ryan.
That is like a fucking 58 Margot bottle of wine is what that is. Jake Ryan is, and with that Porsche, I guarantee you that thing's in tip-top shape wherever it is. Mickey, do you remember the first time you watched 16 Candles? Excuse me.
16 Candles. I believe I saw that on cable.
Cable
HBO.
watch. HBO. Okay.
HBO.
Always the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. And then I think I liked it so much I found it in the video store and rented it.
Ah, that was
And
like
then-
a. Oh, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I made my own marathon, and then through that, I think like obviously Pretty in Pink, and then a lot of the other movies like Breakfast Club. I went back because at that point, I think I saw 16 Candles before I ever saw Breakfast Club.
Okay. So for me, well, no, that's right. Want to get to Ian in the chat before we get to me. I keep on wanting to dive in because I'm so passionate about like the John Hughes universe, especially
which
the
is awesome.
Universal movies.
Oh yeah.
Like this, that I consider it the trilogy, the Anthony Michael Hall trilogy. But
I don't think anybody
everyone
in
has
this
different
world
rankings of their.
refers to it as that ever. I don't
Say
think
that again.
nobody's ever referred to it as the Anthony Michael Hall trilogy.
Yeah, I
Why
always think
wouldn't
Molly
they?
Ring. I think Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, but she's not in Weird Science.
Yeah, but she's in Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and Pretty in Pink.
Right, but I just think again, that's everyone's different about this stuff. That's the way I think of it. I'm sure there's someone else out there that's a big Anthony Michael Hall fan that thinks
Just
of it
Anthony
that way.
Michael Hall himself. That's it. It's just Anthony Michael Hall.
He's
I am
getting no love
shocked.
now.
Shots fired by Yali.
Shots
I am
fired. You know something?
shocked.
It's all because of Halloween Kills. If he hadn't have done that movie, everyone would still be loving him.
I don't know.
Hey,
I still love him.
hey.
I still love him.
Evil dies tonight.
It
It
doesn't
does.
even
It didn't.
Evil doesn't even take a nap tonight. Evil doesn't even take a water break tonight in that movie. But Ian,
Sure.
do you remember the first time you
Oh
discovered 16
gosh,
Candles?
yes. All right, so 16 Candles belongs on the shelf of. We've talked about this on
Multi-tapes.
Multi-tapes. It was recorded on there, and I believe this tape was, and I could be wrong, but if I do remember, it was Revenge of the Nerds, Winnie the Pooh,
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
16 Candles.
Holy shit.
Winnie the Pooh.
Now,
I love
and
about this is that like Revenge of the Nerds is like, such a hard R movie for the
Right.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Winnie the Pooh is the softest G you could get. And
You have
16
to do-
Candles is technically PG, even though it has fucking full frontal nudity in it.
I
which
know,
is
right?
something that's always
You
been weird
have
about
got to do a lot of fast forwarding to get to Winnie the Pooh if you're trying to hide the fact that you're watching
Right, I
Revenge
know.
of the Nerds.
I know. But here's the best part. So I know that this was definitely my parents getting the 2 VCRs and recording it from the store because
it.
it
Oh.
had the CBS Fox logo at the beginning of it. Or was it
No,
Universal?
this wasn't a CBS Fox movie.
Wasn't it though? Oh,
No, it's Universal.
No, that was Bachelor Party. Okay, never mind. That was the Bachelor Party. But I know that it had the FBI warning beforehand and went right into the MCA Universal logo. I remember that. And here's what I know. I know for a fact it was the VHS because and this is a controversy out there. There's the VHS music soundtrack, and then there's the DVD soundtrack.
Don't say DVD soundtrack. Call it the theatrical, because even on DVD, some of them have the VHS soundtrack.
Do they?
And
Well,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Well, whatever it is, the VHS had a different soundtrack, and that's the soundtrack that I grew up with.
Me too.
So when I watch the movie, if it doesn't, I'm expecting certain songs because this is one that I watched a lot, and watching the version where they've changed it and it's different than that VHS, I don't like it. Also, in the VHS version, the grandmother does not kick Long Duck Dong in the nuts. That's not in the VHS.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. But in the DVD or theatrical release, she goes, "You little bastard," and she kicks him right in the nuts.
Wow, I have like no recollection of that.
I do remember that because I remember him falling on the ground.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh wow, I have to maybe I have to give this one a rewatch. I watched that VHS tape so many times when I did discover it. But to your point about the music, Ian, I agree. I definitely prefer the VHS music. I actually, especially in the opening credit scene, I think it flows way better for the opening credit scene than the theatrical music. But
yeah.
Even though they probably honestly cut it to the theatrical music. So it's funny that just like something else happened to work better. But maybe it's just because we've seen it that way so many times. We were talking about this last night too. They did that in a couple of these Hughes Universal movies. You never heard that happening in like Pretty in Pink or Some Kind of Wonderful, which are both Paramount movies. But
you could never replace the soundtrack of Pretty in Pink.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't we honestly feel like that about every single John Hughes movie, though? That like you could never replace the soundtrack to Some Kind of Wonderful. You could never replace the soundtrack to Breakfast Club. You could never replace the soundtrack to Weird Science.
That's very true. That's very true. It's a good point. I mean, like his movies are like perfect in every way, from writing, from acting, to soundtrack, to just everything, just
editing, directing, scoring. Ira Newborn is an unsung hero, does the score to like all these
the
movies.
Most wild one soundtrack of all of those was She's Having a Baby. Did y'all ever listen to the soundtrack of that one?
I mean, I enjoyed that movie because I call that the spare parts canister of John Hughes movies.
Yeah,
it's literally got like leftover pieces of every other Hughes movie in it. It's got like Kevin Bacon from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, the vehicle from
That's a weird John Hughes
like it's really weird, but I love that movie.
It did seem one where he's just like sitting around. It's like, hey, let's film a movie this weekend. All right, hey, Kevin, you ready? Yeah, all right. Yeah, Alec, you good? They just kind of showed up. Yeah, it is. But that soundtrack is wild. There are some there, from just weird takes on that soundtrack.
I mean, Ferris Bueller too. Like, could you imagine any other song besides like boom boom?
Oh, Yellow.
That's Sig Sig Sputnik. Oh yeah, the name of this like that is such a weird song, but it is so perfect for that movie. And I know it had been, or it was also used, I think, in Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox, but we're getting a little bit too many degrees away from 16 Candles now, I think. So I do want to go to the chat real quick, and then we'll talk about when I discovered 16 Candles. Who is in the chat so far? We have Caprice G. I love 16 Candles and still do too. Good to see you in the chat, Caprice. Thanks for tuning in. We have Angie Saunders. Can't believe everyone forgot my fucking birthday. Oh my lord. Well then, a happy birthday to Angie Saunders, the mashup queen. I hope Mike Saunders is in the chat as well.
Hopefully your grandmother did not forget.
Caprice G says it was theater that they discovered 16 Candles, which I am eternally jealous. I would love to watch every John Hughes movie on a big screen with an audience. Like, I just feel like the love for the movies from the
I've
audience.
seen The Breakfast Club. That's the only one I ever saw on the big screen when they did like a re-release, kind of thing, or at a special showing.
I feel like this would make the perfect marathon, like the Hughes marathon in the theaters.
Forget so this awesome. Doctor Strange bull crap. Like, let's do John Hughes.
Stop.
No, I'm
just.
It's two nights of marathons, right? The first night is the Universal trilogy, and then the second night is like the Paramount trilogy. It's
take my money now.
Do Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of
Take
Wonderful.
My money now.
And
get my popcorn ready.
Fucking She's Having a Baby. And then you could even do a third night where you have Uncle Buck, Home Alone, and The Great Outdoors.
You know how many times I saw Uncle Buck in the theaters?
Uncle Buck was gold.
Uncle Buck went on a lot of dates. Uncle Buck was like a good friends outing. Uncle Buck was like, for like a month straight, all I watched in the theaters was Uncle Buck.
Ladies and gentlemen, the return of Mac Daddy Mickey Torres on fucking VCR Redux. It's been a minute, but I knew one of those stories was buried inside you, and we just had to scratch a little to get it out.
Wait, there's one you're missing.
What are we missing?
Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. I was like, there's one you're missing.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, there's one you're missing.
You're gonna have to have a fourth night then.
That's the Paramount.
You're gonna have to include some Edmond Dantes stuff to round it out there. You got to get some Beethoven in there. Beethoven's first and Beethoven's
Sounds like
second.
a film festival instead.
Film festival convention.
And you do that one with Home Alone.
Where's Curly Sue, you bastard?
I love Curly Sue.
Don't you dare leave out a Jim Belushi movie.
Oh, shout out to Steve
You got to do it in
playing
Chicago
snooty Mater D.
Oh yeah,
Curly Sue.
All this has to be done in Chicago. It has to be done in Chicago.
There's no other place. I mean,
or I would do it in I would do it in Manhattan though too.
well, for Lost in New York. Part of my attachment to Hughes is the fact that I come from Hughes land, the northwest suburbs of Chicago. I've probably said this on the show before. He went to high school with my mom, graduated with my uncle. I would have gone to that high school had we have not moved where Breakfast Club was shot, and all these movies. The Water Tower still had Save Ferris painted on it in like the late 90s, so that's always kind of been inspiring to me. Like, oh, this guy who comes from like where I come from got to run Hollywood because the scripts were that great. Always something that like, oh, I want to be that when I grow up, right? But at any rate, I do want to get back to the chat a little bit. We have Gold's Code in there. Sean Gold himself says, get rid of Ian and get Angie Saunders up there. And to be honest, I got Mickey on my
mound. Like, what I do to you people?
Also in the chat, Angie Saunders says, I had a huge crush on Jake Ryan. Who didn't?
Who didn't have a crush on? Everybody has a crush on Jake Ryan.
I didn't have a crush on Jake Ryan.
Me neither.
You're a liar. There's two kinds of people in this world. There's people who love Jake Ryan
and liars.
And dirty liars, all right? No. Everybody had a crush on Jake Ryan.
We also have a little Evil Dies Tonight in the chat. Some quoting going on. Barry Manilow, wardrobe, some Breakfast Club lines. Mike Riffraff, I believe that's Mike Saunders, says, I saw it on cable first, then a lot on VHS after.
Yeah,
that is somewhat similar to my discovery of 16 Candles. So I'll get into that. As we talked about in last week's Weird Science episode, Weird Science was kind of like forced back into my brain when I was, 12 years old, I think, about-ish. And it was like the perfect age for me to then start discovering John Hughes movies. And I think by like some random act of whatever, I just grabbed this VHS tape that was like sitting in a closet of old, or a cupboard of old VHS tapes that hadn't been unearthed in like almost a decade, and I'm like, what's in here? What's in his old Betamax tapes in there? I'm going through, I'm like, well, I can't play these. But what's this one? 16 Candles. And I think I just put it in based on like, okay, I don't know. I think this might be one of those John Hughes movies. Like, let's try this. And that instantly I was like, wow, Anthony Michael Hall is the greatest actor that has ever graced the earth. And like, I need all of his movies. And I watched like Out of Bounds, Johnny Be Good, and all the weird stuff that he did, movies that probably should be forgotten, but I love them all. Because
I think Out of Bounds is forgotten, Chris.
I am an Anthony Michael Hall maniac, okay? I just love this man. I think he is incredible. He's one of the greatest young actors that ever lived. Partnership with Hughes produced nothing but pure gold, solid gold, and I wish John Hughes was still with us because I just love all these movies. And then
wasn't he supposed to be in Pretty in Pink? Wasn't he supposed to be Ducky?
I think that it was that, and I think
and he kind of just was like done. Oh no, he was gonna go do Full Metal Jacket.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Kubrick wanted him for Full Metal Jacket, but it was just Kubrick taking years and years and years, and he just kind of said, "Nah, I'm good."
Well, I've seen an interview of Anthony Michael Hall talking about that, and he said when he realized how long it was going to be to do a Kubrick movie, he's like, "Well, then I think I'm out." Like,
yeah,
that sounds too crazy. They're like, "How long have you been here?" They're like, "We've been here for over a year." Like, no thanks.
As much as I love Anthony Michael Hall, I cannot see anybody other than John Cryer playing Ducky.
Oh yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, who was actually supposed to be Ducky was Robert Downey Jr. And not to get too into Pretty in Pink, but for whatever reason that didn't work out. And that I think is no discredit to John Cryer. I just think it was kind of a mismatch. Maybe there's something they didn't have the chemistry that she would have had with Robert Downey Jr. because they did The Pickup Artist together,
which is a classic.
And they
Chef's
have
kiss. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Man says, I love all the, and I kind of did the same thing with Ringwald too. It's like I watched, and I knew The Pickup Artist already actually, but I had to, rewatch like Space Hunter and all the weird shit. For Keeps, John Allison's For Keeps.
Oh my God!
For Keeps.
What is wrong with you?
You know, Betsy's wedding,
Oh,
like
for
some of the B-siders. You
Wait,
know?
though. All right, no, let's go back though. For
Space Hunters
Keeps.
is not a B side. That's like a D.
Ah! But
You're
For
being too nice
Keeps,
to it.
For
Yeah.
Keeps is a great film. I will give you
No,
that
it's
one.
not.
Oh, that
No,
For
it's not.
Keeps is everything.
You know what Four Keeps
You have no
needs?
heart,
Four
that's why,
Keeps needs
Mickey.
a fucking Blu-ray release. I'm sick of watching my full screen DVD, and I know you're watching Columbia TriStar, Sony. I know
You guys
you're watching.
know what you did.
Give us,
Yeah.
you know what you
Give
did
us
with
that Blu-ray
You
of
know,
that
you
movie that
crapped
was
over
not
a
good.
full screen Laserdisc transfer, not even a widescreen Laserdisc transfer. You crapped over a full screen Laserdisc port onto disc because you thought no one cares, because you thought that for no one that movie was for keeps, but
And charge that
keeping it.
guy in New Jersey $20 for that Blu-ray.
That's right. Get me that Blu-ray and I'll give it a glowing review as long as it's a proper 4K scan. Don't you scan it in 1080. Don't you cheap out now.
Ah,
Avildsen is no longer with us, and the man is a gem. But
How
we're here
does
to talk
this-
about.
How does 16 Candles look on Blu-ray? I've never
that's
seen it on
good.
Blu-ray.
I've seen it.
I've never seen it on
It,
Blu-ray.
it does. I think
Arrow, Arrow Video.
Oh yeah,
did a huge.
Oh, I haven't seen the Arrow disc.
Yeah, Arrow did like a 3-disc.
really?
Yeah, it's got the soundtrack that comes along with it. Like it's pretty good. I'm pretty good.
It's interesting. I mean, you know,
But again,
we haven't talked.
But
Oh,
I will
sorry.
say, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, but I'm in that camp though of I watched my
Buying
VHS.
now.
That's right. But I watched my VHS for so many years. It's like there's certain movies that I think play better. And I think we talked about this on Dazed and Confused, where I prefer the VHS of Dazed and Confused than a crisp Blu-ray, 4K.
It's
No,
like
that's an
cassettes.
abomination.
It's like
No.
But that's-
cassettes. Once
but
you
that's-
wore them out,
Yeah.
once you wore them out, and then like the picture would wobble a little bit, or
Yeah.
or a cassette if you're listening to music, and like at one point it would wobble and like distort a little bit, and then anytime you listen to it like on a DVD or CD or whatever like that, you just don't get the same. You're ready for the whatever.
It's like the scratch on the record, man. You're waiting for
Yeah.
it to skip at that one part. you know?
Exactly. I mean, this
No.
movie is like priceless though. Like
But
there's
it- but
so
it-
many
but it
golden
also-
moments.
But it also makes me feel like it's in the 80s. Like there's something about 16 Candles is so 80s and looking 80s on that VHS tape that I love. I mean, yeah, I did the same thing at Breakfast Club. I had that on a Netflix tape. I guess we call them nowadays. I had it. Like but it looks great in that second tier quality.
Here's what I will say about this, like things looking better on VHS theory, right? Unless you're talking about special effects, which are always going to probably look better on VHS.
No.
I find if a movie was shot on film, I want to see it in as close to film quality as possible, right? Like I want to see, like those little analog-y things, those photographic things like lens flares and stuff like that. Like I want to see that in every little detail. But if something was shot, yeah, the retro patina, right?
Retro
And
patina.
as our good friends from Retro Fiend Radio, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet, would say. But if something was shot on video, I know what you mean. How when it gets rescanned digitally, it can somehow sort of like get extra crappy, like somehow crappier. And there is like
Yeah.
that softness and that warmth of like. There's like that oversaturated, bleeding reds on VH. There's some color elements to it that may.
Yeah, like
have
have you
like a-
seen
oh,
Texas?
yeah,
have
I
you seen
kind of
Texas Chainsaw like on Blu-ray?
The original?
Yeah,
No, but I really want to because it's shot on 16 mil, so I'm very curious.
but it looks not as great. And there was something great about that, media home video release that was like a copy of a copy of a copy. And it just looks so poor that it added to the grittiness. And I know it's
But
a
at the
little off
same
topic,
time-
but like I like that
at the
about
same
16
time-
Candles.
At the same time, that like first generation Star Wars VHS was so blurry and shit looking and like looked like ass that like I never wanted to watch Star Wars as a kid. It wasn't until they like re-released it and it was like, oh, now you can actually like see like they really like fix this up. As much as we showed in the special editions, it got like a whole new generation of people. into
Unless
Star
it has
Wars.
the Leonard Maltin interview, I refuse to watch.
Oh, well, that was gold. We loved the Leonard Maltin interviews.
Yes.
But some interesting stuff in the chat here. Caprice G says these are the best movies, and I'll come to Chi-Town to see this festival. Morton West High School was Breakfast Club. I'm sure everyone feels like that about their high school.
You have to come to Shermer, Illinois. Oh wait, there is no Shermer, Illinois.
There is. It was Northbrook, Illinois, but he winks back at people because it was called Shermer like 100 years ago or something. So he didn't blow up his town that much. But the Icy Mall from Weird Science was my mall growing up. I was there every Sunday. It's the Northbrook Court Mall. Now it's a mall for snooty old people. Well, I was, because I was like born in the fucking North Shore, Chicagoland 80s. Like, how could I not be a mall rat? I lived like 3 minutes from a fucking huge mall. And I grew up in the 80s, give me a break. But also in the chat, Goldscoat says, Anthony Michael Hall babbling about physics club is Chris's version of to be or not to be. And my God, if I've ever been called out so accurately, good Lord, that is spot on, my friend. Tip of the cap to you, sir.
Physics. We talk physics. We talk about physics.
Oh, let's not forget the great. It's not even a cameo. I mean, he's a part of it too. John Cusack.
Oh yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Take those ridiculous things off. They're sleeping with this like nerd headgear. I will say, like, we all probably have a certain moment. We should all probably share that. I think Mickey, you said that earlier. Like I will tell you my favorite moment of this movie of 16 Candles, and it's probably a moment that nobody ever notices, but I die every time. It's when the school bus is dropping off Molly Ringwald and her friend, and as the bus is coming up, there is a kazoo song that is playing. I don't know why John Hughes chose that.
I've always wondered that. Like, what's with the kazoo thing there?
But it is. It's just like, and it's like, it just plays. And it's like, are they playing it on the bus? Is it just the soundtrack? Like, I don't know what it is, but I love it. It's classic moments for me of that.
I don't know if that was, I wonder, maybe that was like an Ira Newborn thing, or like, John was asking his composer, what do you think we should do for score here? And he's like, what about a bunch of kazoos?
Kazoos. Play the nerd, the nerd trumpet.
Yeah.
Nerd trumpet.
The nerd trumpet. That's so good. I'm never not going to call them nerd trumpets now. That's genius.
But there's something I've noticed so far, I think just talking to you guys, and then like, remembering back like when I watched it, like my dad was really into this movie, and I've noticed that there's a strong straight male fan base for like 16 Candles and like Pretty in Pink, like way more than like women in my family that I know. Like for some reason I'm like, they don't resonate the same way with me as they do, I guess, with men for some reason. Like I know men who like 16 Candles like their favorite movie of all time, and I'm like, really? Like I love Terminator. Like that was my favorite.
There's a lot there. I mean, as far as 16 Candles, you have, Jake Ryan's a ladies' man, but you also have like Long Duck Dong, who's like a great ladies' man too. So any guys watching those scenes and stuff like that, it's like, yo, this is cool or whatever like that.
I have to sleep under somebody named after a duck's dork. No, Shakespeare and a bunch of monkeys couldn't write a line like that. I mean, that's
I didn't really get that line the first few times. I thought the kid flubbed a line and that he was supposed to say I have to sleep after someone named after a Dutch dork. And it was supposed to be Dutch. And I was like, why does he say ducks? Like, and I'm like, duck.
Instead of a Hawaiian shirt,
because I had never heard of a
dork.
I had never heard of a dork as slang for a dick, which was a total 80s thing. Like I've heard of dork, you're a dork, you're a nerd, you're a dweeb, like is that, but I had never heard of it as like, oh, slang for dick. And that's what he's saying, like under a duck's dick, a duck's dork. So it was just weird, something named after a duck's dork. I just thought the kid flubbed the line, but it didn't, it doesn't make any sense because the kid's great in every other scene. And that is one of those John Hughes things. He'd find that perfect, person to play the mom in like a scene and a half or two scenes. Perfect, the dad for the one scene, I mean, who doesn't want was it Paul Dooley, I think his name is?
Yeah,
To be
Paul
their
Dooley.
dad. I mean, he's just great in this. And he's never played that type of role again in anything else you ever saw him in.
He put that extra care into even the smallest bit part.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, John Hughes would make, he could redeem anybody in one scene, or he could, totally
But you know
pull
what's
the rug out
weird?
from under you. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, you know what's odd though about 16 Candles, as if you're looking at it, from a post-script screenwriting whatever standpoint, Molly Ringwald is really only in it for half the movie. Like, it's her movie, but it's like literally in the weirdest screenwriting approach ever. It's like, after the dance, I'm going home. And then it's like the rest of the movie happens without Molly Ringwald.
I think that's the reason why it's probably really well liked by men, because she's really not in it as much. Kind of like Sleeping Beauty. Like, Sleeping Beauty's not even really in that movie. It's like the fairies movie, and like,
well, yeah,
she's not really in 16 Candles as much as she was in Pretty in Pink. So I think there's a reason why it resonates so much with men, because it was more like Jake Ryan and Ducky and everybody else.
Anthony Michael Hall was really like, that was really Anthony Michael Hall's movie too.
And despite it happening in a way that is really not aged well at all, Anthony Michael Hall does get the girl at the end of the movie. So that's like satisfying if you're rooting for that character,
It's waking up with his retainer in his mouth.
But again, like, I always take it as that they slept in that car together and nothing actually happened, but they both woke up thinking that it did.
But the funniest thing though, like you just gotta laugh. That's a key thing too. The kid is already driven, doesn't know how to drive, has fallen asleep with this like popular pretty girl and this and that, and manages to say, "Oh wait, let me put my head retainer on," or whatever like that. It's like, would you think like,
at that point, gear on.
Wouldn't you just at that point just say like, fuck it? Like,
I'll tell you the thought I thought of years ago though. I'm watching the movie and I see that scene. I keep thinking, did he have that in his pocket?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't in the car. Like, it was like never like it wouldn't even fit in your pocket. So like where did he get this from?
Oh, some love for Joan Cusack in the chat too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
great in this.
Best drinking from a fountain scene ever, when she's got that little lamb
skirt,
skirt that she kind of okay.
Oh, see that? I mean, that's the Cusack.
She also gives the like, she gives a nice little like bus snub moment. Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall, talking to her after Molly Ringwald leaves, like, she's totally stoked for him. Yeah, she digs me, like, yeah. So good. But to your point, Yali, as well, I think if you look at Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles, they do have a lot of similar ingredients. And 16 Candles maybe does have the edge for guys because Anthony Michael Hall comes out somewhat victorious, at least through a 1984 lens. But in Pretty in Pink, Ducky, I mean, he gets Christy Swanson, who, is obviously a dream girl to many people for a long time. But I think there's something that's just a little bit more satisfying about Farmer Ted's journey in 16 Candles. And it's weird because, like, I never think of him as Ted or Farmer Ted. I just think of him as Anthony Michael Hall in this movie. It's like the other movies I think of him as Gary and Brian, Gary and Wyatt and all that stuff. But
who's Gary?
Yeah. Your son. He's your 16-year-old boy.
And I will say this, Jake Ryan, as much as, everybody always wants to go for Jake Ryan, let's be honest, Jake Ryan is kind of a jerk, and is a jerk throughout the whole movie, and is a jerk at the very end. The only redeeming thing Jake Ryan does, if you really think about it, is he actually gets her a birthday cake. That's the only good thing Jake Ryan does throughout the whole movie.
I don't think he was a jerk.
When you're that fucking handsome, a fucking birthday cake goes a long way.
I think he was
a lot of things in life that just comes down to like, how fucking good looking are you? And I hate to say it, but like, all the shit John Cusack does in his heartthrob movies, if it was done by someone that looked like fucking Steve Buscemi, you'd be calling the police. Like some dude outside your window with a fucking boombox. Like if that dude
The
isn't a
cops are
goddamn
called.
timepiece, you're calling the fucking cops. You know, just.
But I don't think Jake Ryan was a dick. I think he was a dick to his girl, but that was because she was a bitch.
Well, but that's
He's
what I'm
nice to
saying.
Farmer Ted, who's the biggest nerd in school.
Is he though? He's just kind of like, hey, here, deal with this person. I'm done with her. Like
I don't like the hate for Caroline because if realistically, like, I remember being a teenager in high school and all I wanted to do was go party. Like that was just what you like, especially in my teenage era. Like dancing was the thing. Like everyone went to the clubs and everyone partied. So like for me, she like just reminded me of just like what I was like as a teen. Like I just want to dance and have a good time. And if you don't want to dance, you're just like a buzzkill. Like what's wrong with you? Like you're supposed to be a teenager too. Don't you want to go do party and dance and do everything else? And he just seemed like a stiff. Like I don't know. He was Jake Ryan was cute, but like he didn't seem fun. Like I would probably would have cheated on him too.
I
want to have fun. Why are you just sitting around like being miserable? Like you're supposed to be hot and cool. Like
I feel she used him as a trophy though.
Oh, they both used each other.
Absolutely.
It's fun without him.
We got to shout out the actress name's Havlin Morris, by the way, and she was great in Gremlins 2. She's also great on Family Ties for a couple episodes.
That was her, wasn't it? With the cigarette smoker.
Yeah, exactly. Billy, very fucking wonderful things for you, Billy. This could be very big.
Oh wow, that was her. Yeah.
But I do think she made me realize just how much I hate country club culture, you know, like that line of hers, and it's great, and it's very true to the Midwest. I knew a lot of girls like her growing up that just like wanted to be rich and live in the Northwest suburbs, you know, in the same neighborhood as their parents, and you know, be drunk all day and on Valium, and you know, this, you know, we'll be the richest and most popular adults in town. Like that whole thing, it's just like, oh, barf. That's just like the opposite of the culture I wanted for myself in my life. No
drinking
disrespect
and Valium.
Yeah, just not for me.
I wasn't doing
like,
Valium.
Okay, no.
just
I don't know. I maybe
in case my mom's watching.
Here, this will relax you. What did I just take? A birth control pill.
Again, you know
what I can do for a boy my age.
I know exactly what to do to a girl my age. So great. Yeah, she plays all that shit amazingly well. Also, you get a very young Jamie Gertz in this as one of the girls that cuts her hair out of the door.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Before, I think this is obviously before Less Than Zero, and you know,
where again Jake Ryan does a jerkish thing by shutting the door on her. Like,
yeah, that was kind of like that was a.
He didn't know her hair was going to get caught in the door.
Stop defending Jake Ryan, Chris.
I think that was the only scene that I think he was out of line.
I'm just saying, when you're as fucking handsome as Jake Ryan, like two little acts of kindness go a long way. He's nice to Farmer Ted. And
he wasn't Matt Dillon.
He was polite to her grandparents when they answered the phone.
Defense.
That's a shit situation.
This is the defense on both sides. It's Jake Ryan. It's Jake Ryan.
Guess what? I win on either side.
On either
I got
side.
Jake fucking Ryan on my side.
Yeah, but I also like. Did this guy ever do another movie?
He did do Wild Hearts Cannot Be Broken.
And fucking Mermaids, goddammit. The masterpiece that is Mermaids.
I love
Mermaids. Is good.
Mermaids is fucking great because you get three generations of awesome. You
Mickey,
get Cher,
you get
Winona.
Dirty trap.
You don't like mermaids?
You just shut your mouth.
No.
Who are you talking to shut their mouth? Me?
Mickey. No, Mickey.
Why?
He's about to say he hates mermaids.
What?
Oh, what?
Mermaids is so good.
Let him speak. Let the man speak.
No.
You will be held in a court of RoboCop.
I'm just not a fan of Cher movies in general.
Oh, wait a second.
Slimy? I am done with you.
Is her performance that bad that you can't see everything else? Like, it's such a good movie, even if you take away Cher.
No, but usually her movies just don't appeal to me. Like whatever. Like I don't like that
Witches
Moonstruck
of Eastwick.
Oh, Moonstruck was
Moonstruck. Like what?
Witches of Eastwick doesn't appeal to you?
Nope, didn't like it.
Lord, what am I? Who?
I mean, I like Cher. Don't get me wrong. I like Cher.
All right,
Yeah, like,
all right,
okay,
shut up,
all right,
shut up,
all right.
shut off their boxes.
I'm like this. I mean, she's
Yali.
she's
I
Yeah,
kind
he-
of like the mermaids.
You know,
He
I
likes
don't know.
mermaids.
Yali can stay, but this scumbag, get him out of here.
Are you
I
telling
love how
me
Ian on
defending
this show.
mermaids? Get out of here.
I will defend that.
Right.
It's got Bob Hoskins, for gosh
Oh my
sakes.
god.
One
Well,
of the greatest.
we should have been pitching 10 minutes ago, but before we do get to that,
Pitch
I
him
just
out of
have
the room. That's what I say, sir.
Well, I'm gonna
I have
pitch a
to point
movie
out-
without Cher. That's for sure.
You
Ian on VCR, Ian on this show is effectively Randy Quaid in Major League 2. There's only 2 speeds. He has either this is going to be the greatest season in Indians baseball history, or he has like throw out the tar, back it up, get out the pooper scooper. Like these guys are terrible. Like, get them out of here. Like,
until somebody
so what,
tells
they'll
me.
blow it in the playoffs.
Until somebody tells me to go stuff it, and I'm like, ah, I'm back. You know.
But every now and again, the opening riff from Wild Thing will warm Ian's heart, and he'll be
that's
screaming,
right.
"Go Wild Thing, go Rick Vaughn!"
That's
and he'll be back. So in that,
My Rick Vaughn swears. That's all I'll say.
you know,
It's
I
those
keep it keeps
PG-13
on.
crap.
I keep thinking about what you were saying before, Yali, about guys having the appeal to these John Hughes movies, and I think part of it too is also the way John Hughes writes these characters. And I think in 16 Candles, I believe the story is that he saw a picture of Molly Ringwald in a magazine and then wrote the movie like that weekend, like the first draft that weekend, and found her somehow through the magazine. He knew the ad agency, because he used to work in advertising, so like he followed the trail and like found this girl and like got her the script, and then they basically made the movie. Which sounds just like, why can't it be that easy for everyone? Well, because not everyone writes movies as well as John Hughes. That's why.
I just found that his main audience is definitely not women's. Even like Pretty in Pink, like I think the appeal is just like, oh, it's Molly Ringwald and the outfits are cool and like that stuff, but like it doesn't really hit the notes that it needs to hit for it to like really resonate as a girl, like coming of age wise. Like it just always found like the male characters always stood out more. Like Pretty in Pink, Ducky was my favorite character. Like I thought he was like hilarious, but like Molly herself, like it was like, she's okay. Like I like her outfit.
It's funny because like he had the girl is basically what the story is about. It's like her coming of age, but at the same token, it's like, for example, in this movie, it's Farmer Ted's coming of age.
Yeah,
It's Jake Ryan's coming of age in a way,
they're more kind of like the
but
catalyst for everyone else, but
Yeah,
not really
well,
about her.
I think also he writes his female leads almost the same as his male leads. Like they're usually kind of loners or some reason that they're on the outside. Like, Molly Ringwald in Pretty in Pink and Eric Stoltz in Some Kind of Wonderful are playing the exact same character. It's just a gender flip of the same movie, with a few different themes running throughout. It's like just different enough to make me want both to exist, if that makes sense. And I love Craig Sheffer and Leah Thompson, and there's a lot of great things. Mary Stuart Masterson. There's a lot of great like unsung small heroes in both movies.
Bed of Roses. Oof.
Annie Potts doesn't get enough
That's a good
credit for
movie.
Pretty in Pink as well. But at any rate, we should be pitching some 16 Candles ideas. And that means you in the chat should be pitching some 16 Candles ideas as well. So let us know, how would you continue this franchise? Do you want a Long Duck Dong spinoff? Do you want something about Andy's daughter? Do you want what do you want? Do you want Farmer Ted? Do you want her to still be married to Jake Ryan?
I want Molly Ringwald and Farmer Ted to be married.
You want Sam?
Never happened, dude. The audience will never go for it.
I think they would.
Here's why.
I think they're with those people. So like she's with Jake Ryan, and he's with the girl, whatever like that, and they get divorced because they realize that all this was a high school crush thing, or all this was whatever. They ended up, getting married with these people, but realizing that they're just not the ones. And Farmer Ted and her have remained friends. They're all basically friends. Because remember, Jake Ryan kind of basically hooked up Farmer Ted with this girl. So they've all remained friendly and stuff like that. And it just happens that way. So Farmer Ted, Molly Ringwald get together. Jake Ryan gets back with his girl.
Oh no, that's a consolation prize. That
It's
I
not-
won't.
It's
I,
not a
I was
cons-
I was trying to ride this wave.
They
but
grow up. They grow up. They become
I
better
did-
people.
I did think about this. I thought a very interesting way of doing this would be 64 candles. Like, well,
you're
but
adding
they-
a couple. You're adding at least 6
well,
years.
they're
I think.
almost in their 60s.
They're
now.
almost 60.
Almost,
yeah,
yeah,
probably they
almost.
got to
Yeah.
be almost 60 now.
All right,
Mhm.
what's minus 10 years? What, 60? Okay, 53 candles, whatever, But I was going with the 6 because 16 and, whatever. But,
Yeah,
but
it'd be
anyway,
cute. I get it. 60 candles would be cute though. 60
yeah,
rock
60.
candles.
Okay, like 60 candles. Like it
that
is.
would be cute. Yeah, for sure.
It's literally. She is now going through. I'll be honest. I've never really seen a good, like.
Are you about to say what I think you're gonna say?
Here's the thing. I'm going to be very astute about it. I think that if she's going through a divorce, the retiring age, all this kind of stuff, it's due time to have Molly Ringwald going through this part of her life. Like, why can't we have her going through, her the autumn years, and I think Mickey's right. I think it'd be great. It's like she's going through a divorce of Jake Ryan because we all know Jake Ryan's an ass,
Yeah.
and maybe she does find Farmer Ted now.
Yeah.
and he's
Why not?
and he's hot Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
It is not before sunset or something like
Get
that.
this man a prize.
All right, first of all, you two just both happen to pitch some weird shit and combine your hate for Jake Ryan, and now you're best buddies again, and I don't like any of it. Not a
That's
second.
How
of it.
could-
why
look
you
at
can't
that.
see her that way, because people don't like to watch old people have sex, and it's just not going to happen. Like, what's she gonna do?
Ian-
Give her the granny panties? Like, is that supposed to resonate with the audience?
No,
like,
you
it's
know
just
what?
not
She's
gonna
not-
work.
I
I don't
thought
want to see
Ian-
that.
But she's
I
not
thought you-
old. She's not old. Like, I mean, that's not
People-
60s is not old.
Yeah,
In
Ian, I
Hollywood
thought you were
it
pitching
is.
a menopause movie.
No, I mean,
In
like,
60
Hollywood it
Candles
is.
too,
Well,
the
it
change.
could be. Why not? I mean,
Look
All
at-
right, well, the
honestly,
book
like-
club, the book club is sort of like that, where it's like the old ladies were like all got into like 50 Shades of Grey, and they were all like trying to get sexy and stuff. Like, no one went to go see that because like it's uncomfortable. Like, it's just not.
Well, I agree with you, but have you
It's
looked
not
at
gonna
Molly
put people
Molly
in seats.
Ringwald looks wonderful at her age.
Yeah.
But no one went to
She
go
does.
see her
She's
in
Molly
Gem either.
Ringwald.
But she
Of
was
course
in
she
Gem, and no one went to
does.
go see her.
But-
Here's the
but
only
I-
way. All right,
I
will
saw.
say this.
I will
But
wait.
if you
Wait.
made,
Wait.
but if
I
you made a,
watched.
oh,
I
go ahead.
watched. I watched Sex in the City, the movie, just for Kim Control.
But she's
No,
not.
You
she,
watched
now
Sex in the
she's
City because you
considered
went to a
old. Then
date
she
with
wasn't.
somebody to Sex in the City, and you were
I'd
forced
watch
to watch
anything
Sex
with
in
Kim
the City.
Control. First of all, let's
She's
just
wonderful.
I'm not gonna say
clarify
that
that
wasn't
she's
true.
fantastic. If you haven't seen Masquerade with Rob Lowe and Meg Tilly and Kim Control, y'all better
Oh,
go out and
yeah.
watch it right away.
If
That
you haven't
movie's
seen her
incredible.
as Lassie and Porky's, like, come on now.
Yeah, but that's young Kim Control.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
that's like Police
But
Academy.
I
Kim
love
Control.
Kim Control.
Mannequin is what's up.
I don't. I
It's
don't
on her
think-
IMDb page. She has to live with her choices.
I don't.
I will say
mean,
this: the only way I'm cool with Sam being divorced from Jake Ryan is if she is now gay. I know it sounds like a weird stipulation, but like it'd have to be something that big that she just realized, you know, something. Actually, I think I like girls, and like
You
You
are
know-
wearing that shirt, and you just went woke on us all for this part of the story. Like, what had just happened here?
why can't Sam be a lesbian hero? Why
I'm
can't that
game.
happen?
I'm game for all of it. I just thought, how could you not have her go for Farmer Ted?
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I mean, I get that.
because there was
Farmer
no
Ted's-
other girl character in
Here's
the
the thing:
movie
if
that-
Farmer Ted
Caroline
married
is
Carolyn,
there.
Yeah, I
Farmer
guess, I
Ted's
guess.
got Caroline, and they got married, and they're still happy. Here's what I think happens though, and because this could be a funny situation for maybe even like a show, an extended run kind of thing, which would give you more hours of 16 Candles than just a movie.
Sure.
And I know we pitch these like Netflix style shows a lot, and I try to not do it every week. But in this case, imagine that Sam left Jake Ryan for her best friend who's in the movie with her, right? The girl with the dark curly hair, looks kind of like Jennifer Beals.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
but like you just described her, you don't know her name, and you want me to be interested in this girl. to think that Sam. I mean,
Oh
like,
my
she wasn't she wasn't a star player. There wasn't a star.
I think the
She
you
was
only
know.
way to
great. You
do
remember
this
that girl, and you don't remember
is
her name. That's the
you
point. They
just
don't
have
even
to
fucking
reboot
give
it
her a
all
name, and you remember
together.
her.
I think you get rid of the original people. Like they could be cameos, but I think they should make it the Hispanic
Oh.
version of she has to find her 16 people, and it comes with all this drama because Thea wants to be in it, but her cousin Luisa's not getting the candle, and
I can't lie
making
to you.
her friends, and
I would watch that
I
movie.
want
I
that, but
actually
I
think
don't
that
want
would
it.
that movie.
be
I-
better.
I
But
want
it doesn't
that.
have to have anything to do with the
16
original movie. Then
candles.
you
I
call
want
it. You call it.
nothing.
I mean, she could be the
I
teacher
want-
at the school, maybe. Like, if you want like the original cast, they're like
I
they're
want it called
teachers
You
or
call it
something like that.
quinceañera.
I want quinceañera. That's what
yeah,
I want
you
to
call it
call
that. Yeah.
And I think that'd be better because I think as much as 16 Candles like works for the time it was in, like there's still a lot of things about it that are not okay now. Like like you said, it definitely didn't age well for 2022. I think we got to like try to like fix that by like changing some of the things about it that were not great because no
Well,
offense.
that's part of. That's
One
part of
song is
where.
all fine and everything, but like nowadays that's not gonna fly with
Well, here, this is
majority
part of where my pitch was gonna go was that like all in the same neighborhood is Farmer Ted, is Sam and her, new lover, whatever that person may be. And you have Jake Ryan there, and they're divorced and they
She
have
could
kids
go
together.
Marlene. Wasn't Marlene like super butch and strong? That's who like looked the dog ended up like hanging out with at the dance or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
Like
God.
Marlene
Right.
looked like maybe she's a
Well,
lesbian.
but I was also gonna have
I
Long
thought you my
Duck
new
Dong.
American girlfriend.
Like it's honestly I think the easiest way to go honestly is to truly do a Long Duck Dong spinoff, to truly make a DuckTales and truly say like, you know what, we're taking this character center stage and we're gonna redeem not you can't
Have
redeem
him
the
change his
original
name.
movie.
He
No,
can
no,
change
you
his
can't redeem
name.
the original. You can't redeem the original movie, but you can
my
like give
gosh.
this guy his time to shine because
But he can
people
change
do.
his name because he was basically adopted.
All right.
So he could
Right.
be like,
He's got to
that's
be
not
Long
my.
Duck. He's got to be Long Duck Dong though. You can't.
No,
That's
All
like
right.
saying like we could have Marty McFly but change his name. Like
I mean,
But
no.
there's nothing wrong with Marty
You could
McFly.
allude. You could. You definitely could to mention Long Duck Dong, and he basically
I don't
says
think
like,
there's
that's not
anything.
my
I mean,
name
okay,
anymore.
if you call him Long Duck Dong, yeah, it sounds silly. But like if you call him the Donger, then it's cool. Like, oh, Donger's here. Like
The
Dong is here. Like
the
Dong, that's
donger.
awesome. Like,
Donger.
you gotta own it. You gotta make it
That
work
is
for
that
you.
is that
The
sounds like a
kid in
nickname
fucking
you
Monster
try.
Squad is called Fat Kid, but we love him. That's a badge
Yeah.
of honor.
All right. I've got an idea. All right. So you got these shows like Riverdale, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What if, all right, again, maybe a Netflix show, maybe one of these things, but it's called Shermer. All right. And here's what we do. We take all of these people who were in the Hughes verse, right? So
That
you
would
take
be
you
awesome.
take Molly Ringwald, you take Anthony Michael Hall, you take Judd Nelson, you take Rob Lowe, you take
John
There
Cryer.
wasn't any John
Bacon.
Hughes movies.
okay, first off, knock it off. I get it. All right. But he was part of the Brat Pack, okay?
You beat me to
Okay,
it.
well, you got to be clear then. You say Rat Pack.
Well,
right?
I'm just saying, like you, what it becomes is the Brat Pack reunion. It becomes, and so you take a Desperate Housewives or a a better example, 30 something. Remember that show 30 something?
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
60
yeah.
something. All right, but it's called Shermer, and so it's all of these people from the John Hughes movies living their lives now and going through all of it. Like Farmer Ted is a high school science teacher. He's a physics teacher. Like
There's
Do
only
you have
one
Anthony Michael Hall
problem.
playing 3 different characters.
There's
Molly
only-
Ringwald playing 2.
There's only
Well-
one problem. Molly Ringwald would look like she got around because you would literally have like every one of the people that she's ever been with in Shermer.
That's slut
Hey!
shaming. We don't do that here.
I know.
hey, look.
She can do whatever she want, damn it.
Fine, it's Demi.
That's
it's
right.
Demi,
Get it? Yeah.
It's Demi Moore. She's still struggling on
Oh,
the floor of her cold
that's-
apartment.
That's in my movie. That's who she leaves Jake Ryan for. She leaves Jake Ryan for Demi Moore. Boom.
Far out.
I
I'm
love
game
it.
for it. But like
Everyone wants it.
and so the whole show though is, and I'll be honest, make Sam the lead, the pinpoint of the show. Like it's Sam going through Shermer and just trying to. And so you know what? Nobody ever says Sam isn't Molly Ringwald's character from The Breakfast Club. She could be. She
No,
became popular.
No, she can't be Claire. Claire is rich and has a dad who drives a BMW and brings sushi to school. That's not Sam.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, in Shermer, you could.
Just said Sam and Andy.
Well, I'm just saying you could mix this to be a world, like, and for instance, like Emilio Estevez is the PE coach. Like he literally became the wrestling coach at the school. You get all of the Hughesers, to
Hughesers. The fucking Hughser base is established.
You get them there, and it's just them going through life at this age. It's life at, and here's the thing: every episode is a take on that. So it's the dinner club. It's 60 candles. It's
this actually could be really cool.
Strange,
and everybody gets an episode. Like
physics.
One episode's Anthony Michael Hall, one episode's Molly Ringwald, one episode's John Cryer, one episode is Judd Nelson, one episode is Emilio, one episode is Matthew Broderick, one episode's Eric Stoltz, one episode's Leah Thompson.
What if you
that could be fucking great. And the finale, it's Long Duck Dong, and you give this guy, you make him James Bond, you make him kick ass, and get the
what
girl.
What if you did like a Marvel What If? But you did it for Shermer. Like
Shermer,
what if?
Oh, that's cool.
What if Long Duck Dong was Jake Ryan? Or what if like you keep it going?
And who is the janitor?
Oh, John Capellos.
John Capellos. There's your Kinziera storyline.
Yeah,
he's the through line because he's in a lot of these movies. It's just like a background dude.
I mean,
he's the brother-in-law. He's the brother-in-law to be in 16 Candles. He's the janitor in Breakfast Club, and he's at the bar in Weird Science. So, doing with a malaka like this. She's in the malaka.
But like I would watch that show, and I think all of us would watch that show because we all are about nostalgia shows right now.
Yeah.
And Shermer would fucking be the best. It would just be the best nostalgia catch ever if you could get them all to do it. I mean, God,
they're not doing anything. They have time.
We all want to know what happened to Bender. We've all wanted to know what happened to Bender.
That is so fucking true. Yeah.
We've all wanted to know. Like
they would do it.
Didn't even matter.
The only one that you wouldn't be able to get, but I don't know if it's a big deal, would be maybe John Cusack. I don't see him never doing that. But
why
it's
not? What the fuck?
He did the Raven.
I know. I think
the Raven. Like, what do you want?
I don't think he would go back and revisit that. Period.
He's a big time Chicago guy. You forget, man. Like
he is a big time Chicago
pride.
Guy.
He might do it just for the Chicago pride alone.
Maybe
if you set it in Chicago and you say, "Hey, this is going to create jobs for Chicago and be a great Chicago movie."
If his sister
all right,
did
you
it,
twist my fucking arm.
And
there's a part for your sister, of course. There's got to be a part for her.
He may do it.
He's
actually,
an
that would be one of the
orthodontist.
best episodes. Is a Joan Cusack only episode? I think.
Yes, that'd be great. She's an orthodontist now, and
she's
Sam. Also she's
if
a
we're doing
sadist
what
who
if
tortures kids by giving them headgear even if they don't need it.
And it's just like, and you have something that I guess at the very end, like I said, I think the third, you have to have a through line of, like I said, having Sam moving back to Shermer, and it's just her connecting with all these people again and trying to,
that was a divorce thing, right?
Yeah, that was the divorce thing. Like
her and Jake Ryan moved to California or whatever the case may be, and Jake Ryan became like a football star. Was he playing football?
Swimsuit model, underwear model,
something.
I'm sure he became an asshole.
Yeah, probably.
What planet am I in where people don't like Jake Ryan? This is a strange room.
He could be like a NFL commentator. That's the vibe I get from Jake Ryan.
Something like that.
That sounds like some Jake Ryan. No, Jake
He'd
Ryan.
be the Troy Aikman of the
Jake Ryan sells BMWs, and he hates selling BMWs. That's who Jake Ryan is.
No
Now you
way.
gotta make.
That's who
him-
Caroline wanted him to be,
Yeah.
and that's why he's not with Caroline anymore.
That's what he
Yeah.
became because he loved Caroline. He just realized it after the fact because he's a
No
jerk.
way. Jake Ryan is renting out surfboards in Hawaii and somehow making a shitload of money from it. He found some way to do some kick-ass cool
There's-
thing that he's really passionate about. And
I still want the divorce.
Maybe he
I s-
became passionate about baking cakes. Like, what if that's the thing? Like, he just like loved that one cake he bought her, and he's like, I'm
I
gonna start my
love
own
y'all.
bakery.
I can see him becoming like a great chef, you know,
Like,
someone
he's
who
the new
a
cake
bit of
boss.
a bit of an artist, but you know, you're still working
Yeah,
hard for a living, you know.
I just think this is such a, I mean, and it would be great. It's this episode's funny. This episode's sad. This episode is serious. This episode is, you know, like bonkers. Because somewhere in there, Lisa's going to show up from, you know, strange physics, you know, episode. Like it's going to be weird, you know, like it's, and somewhere along the line, Rob Lowe's going to give us a story about not knowing where St. Elmo's fire is. You know, it's going to appear somewhere, you know.
But I mean, I still don't understand why you put Rob Lowe in this movie.
Because you put the Brat Pack in here, sir.
I'm in favor of Rob Lowe
But it's
in
Shermer.
everything, but it does seem a little strange. You know, I mean, hey, if we could see Thomas Howell in there too, though, I'm listening.
Hey, look, just get you got John Cryers in there. You got Ducky's in there. You've got, you know,
Andrew McCarthy. Oh, he was in Pretty in Pink, so he could be.
yeah,
in there.
Andrew McCarthy could be in.
Mhm.
That's why Rob Lowe's funny, you guys. He comes up going, I shouldn't be here.
That could
Like,
be
that's
cool.
the perfect
All right,
line.
that could be cool. I
That
like
could be
that.
cool.
This whole
If he
you
says
bringing other
like,
people, yeah. to say I
He
shouldn't
pulls
be
up
here.
into a car
I don't
and he
even
rolls
know
down
you
the window.
guys.
He's like, where am I? You know, like,
So there's some pitches in the chat. I don't want to leave anybody out. Alex Bonafonte says sequel, bring back a few characters and highlight the awkwardness of dating in your middle-aged years. That's sort of what
Fair.
we talked about a little bit, I think. Light 3444 says the only person who could save the day could be Robert Downey Jr. Says she fell in love with him in rehab and she turned to alcohol and he became her coke dealer. This is a
He's-
deep
Please
take.
don't
my
give.
I love it.
he's a Hoosier. He's a
love-
Hoosier.
Please
then he
don't
also
give
says
Ian any more
he's a
reason to
teacher at
love
the
Robert Downey
school.
Jr. anymore.
Who doesn't love Robert Downey Jr.? You all love Robert Downey Jr.
Yo, light 3444 has some awesome dark pitch. Follow this, right? Everything I just said, he becomes a coke dealer, and then she's a teacher at the school and falls in love with Farmer Ted's 16-year-old transgender son. Checked all the boxes. This is a fucking crazy movie.
Oh, what?
And Farmer Ted grew up and is magically Robert Downey Jr. just so Ian will watch it. Now I know who Light 3444 is. That's got to be Mike Movie Guy Yaspel. It
But,
makes
like,
sense why he's cracking me up.
Oh.
Also, Phantom Spotlight says Jake Ryan is working at LaRusso Motors for Daniel LaRusso.
Probably.
I was gonna say for your
there's a
Long
good
Duck
chance
Dong
of
thing,
that.
I think you could do like you have Long Duck Dong, you have Ducky, and then you have Howard the Duck, and then they have like a DuckTales movie where it's just the three of
Yes.
them, and they just solve mysteries and crime. Like
Oh.
Archie.
I want
and
to
Where
shoot
Mysteries
money.
Are. It's the
I
only
wanna
way it'll
shoot
work.
money
It's the
at-
only
out
way
of
it'll
a
work.
cannon at that idea and
Just-
watch it grow because it's amazing.
I think that's the only way we can redeem them. Is just
And then
all
you
the ducks
could-
hanging out.
The
And then they
awesome
all
thing about
coach a
that,
hockey team called the Mighty Ducks.
Ducks. There you go.
the
Boom.
awesome thing about that is you can still have Scrooge McDuck and you make him an animated, and
Oh,
you'd be in the
fuck yeah.
live action, and you'd have Scrooge
The
McDuck in there.
Duckverse.
Is this too far? Can she have a okay?
Holy Duckverse.
Molly
we need this.
Ringwald has a younger affair with Macaulay Culkin. Is he in
That was what we call a silent pause.
Was
Mhm.
is he? But
we
is
don't
he?
have too many of those on this
Is
show.
he? Is
but
he
we
a
just got
Hoosier?
so
Is he a
quiet.
Hoosier? Is Kevin McAllister a Hoosier?
I will say, Ali.
Why in the blue hell?
I'm just saying
That's a
casting
crime.
line. No, no,
What do you mean a
not
Hoosier?
eight.
Oh, a
not
Huser.
Oh,
a
okay.
Hoosier, not 8-year-old Kevin McAllister. I'm
Users
talking
like in
about-
the use verse. Yes.
yeah,
User.
yeah. I'm talking about like
Hoosier.
like Macaulay Culkin now.
Older. Okay.
Like he's like she's dating, you know, a 30-year-old, you know, Macaulay Culkin, but is he in the, you know?
Interesting thing though, actually, more curiously, not that they would date, but Kevin McAllister is in the Hughes verse. You know what I mean?
Yes,
He
that's what I'm
is.
saying.
That's
So
what he
he
meant.
He's
is.
got to be
That's what he
there.
meant.
Yeah, that's what
That's
you're
what he
saying.
meant.
Okay, and
That's what I'm
that
saying.
I dig for sure.
He's in Shermer. You know, it totally
All right.
works.
Well, I love that.
Which also gives you Joe Pesci could be a Hoosier.
Oh fuck, and Danny Stern in the Hughes
And Daniel
verse.
Stern. Like, come on.
Oh, Marv is
Shermer
reformed.
the
Marv,
shit.
no, Harry's reformed, and Marv is not. That would be great. Interesting way to play it.
Marv. I love
Only if the
Marv.
pigeon lady gets to come back will I'll allow this.
Oh, Pigeon Lady over Shovel Man. I'm serious.
Absolutely.
I'll die on this hill. Pigeon Lady is way more than
Absolutely.
Shovel Man, and I love the Shovel Man and Christine and all the other weird shit he was in. But at any rate, we are a little bit past time. I think it was worthy of going over time for 16 Candles and for the Hughes verse and for all the Hughesers out there. So I gotta say, you know, Ian, I think you crushed on this one. I would absolutely see that, you know.
Perfect title, Shermer.
Make it happen, people. Yeah, Shermer.
You
People
see
will know what
Shermer.
that is.
Right there.
Shermer, yeah. I want to see Shermer coming to a streaming screen near me soon. But before we wrap it up, Yali, is there anything going on with you at Fandom Spotlight or anything animation-wise you want to let the people about know at home?
Right now on Fandom Spotlight, you can watch me and Matt Porter and Joe. We did a reaction to Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 1. That's on YouTube right
Ooh.
now.
Pretty good show. Good show.
There's some choices.
Episode 3 will tell me how I feel about this show.
That
But
is
so
fair.
far got a lot of potential.
There's some choices. And Crunchyroll, I have my a mom's guide to anime where I talk about parenting and anime, and also anime dating where I talk about my failure at dating and how anime is helping me get through it.
You went after Jake Ryan.
No, but the person did buy me a cake. So
Fair.
that does count for something. But other than that, we also have a podcast now, Fandom Spotlight, called Dragon Ball for Life, and that also has Mighty Ice and Toll Troll Travis, and it talks about Dragon Ball Z and trying to get people to read the manga and all the beauty of manga and anime that pays my bills. So just go listen to all of that stuff so I can get paid. And it's really good to be here. I miss you guys. You guys are always hilarious. And Jake Ryan is not it. I'm sorry.
You know, it. Say that again?
No, definitely. The voice of God just said.
The voice of God in my ear. I know you
I'll
guys at
repeat it.
home can't hear that. A side thought before I finish and close up. You know, Ian, if Jake is a bad guy, then we have to do that. He became very vain and released a series of workout tapes called Body by Jake. Just saying.
Oh, that's perfect. That's
Body by Jake
perfect.
with Jake
And
Ryan.
he gets sued. He gets sued by the real Body by Jake.
No, he gets sued by Jake the Snake Roberts, and it's just let's just get fucking weird with no.
It's
Yeah,
Jake.
let's-
It's Jake with
yeah.
2 Ks.
Let's keep
Yeah.
Jake the Snake
Yeah, I
Roberts in our
know.
thoughts.
I know. Yeah, keep Jake Roberts in our hearts and in our thoughts.
Well, he's not doing too well. So let's
Oh, Jesus,
yeah.
I didn't know. I had no
Yeah,
idea. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Well, then, yeah, all seriousness, I've met him. He's a really sweet guy. Hope he's doing okay. In lighter news, to Ian, Mickey, anything going on in your corner of the world you want to let the people at home know about before we say goodnight?
Yeah, please go to a great company called oldies.com. And
yes.
on their today, they just released a film that I had a part in directing many years ago called Chili Willies, a anthology film in the style of Tales from the Crypt, shot on video, you know, by a bunch of college kids, and, you know, some 15 years later, it's come out on DVD. So do check it out. It's I think right now it's on sale for $5. So, you know, please get your copy of Chili Willies. It also has a bonus feature of a short film. So
Nice.
called The Uninvited. So please go to oldies.com, type in Chili Willies.
You know you need it, guys. Go there and do it now. The cover art is beautiful, and a very, very serious congratulations to you, sir. We're all very stoked about that.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Mickey, Mac Daddy, anything coming up in your corner of the world, my man?
No, not really anything like, well, I mean, in June, the end of June, we'll
recording, right?
Yeah, we're going to be recording. So
Awesome.
hopefully sometime in July, we'll have some music out.
Rick Barth in the line with new jams coming at you. Well, in the meantime, guys, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for our Mortal Kombat episode, Mortal Kombat 3, That's So Raiden. If you don't watch it, your soul is mine. As always, if there's a particular movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover in a future episode, let us know in the comment section below. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Hollow Knight Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.